This is Andy Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm joined by up-and-coming heavyweight prospect Johnny Fisher over Zoom. Johnny, how are you?
Hello, Andy. I'm well, mate. I'm feeling good, and I hope you're well too.
I'm all good, mate. It's good to catch up. Your debut is only a matter of 10 days away now. How have you found your first full professional camp?
Yeah, it's been brilliant. I've had more than a professional camp really, because I've been training non-stop since August. So I'm more than ready to go.
Do you feel it's benefited you, Johnny, to have the extra time in camp and not having to kind of worry about a quick debut, or do you think you would have preferred to have been out if an opportunity had presented itself?
But definitely, I want to get out as soon as possible, really, because I want to get rolling. I want to have that feeling of having my first fight under my belt. But everything happens for a reason, and I'm ready to go now. And this is the way it's meant to be. So this is how it is.
Now, one thing, unfortunately, you won't be able to kind of experience next week is the fans being there, kind of roaring you on.
Yeah.
Do you feel that all that it's obviously it's out of your hands, it's out of everybody's hands, but do you feel that all that maybe you've been robbed of that opportunity to have it, or?
No, definitely not. Because I think about fighters who on small hall shows who can't even box at the minute. I'm one of the lucky ones who's got a chance to box. And listen, there'll be plenty of times in the future, hopefully, for fans to come and watch. I've had fans watch me as an amateur. I've had hundreds. So whatever environment I'm in, I'm happy, and I'm just grateful to have the opportunity.
Johnny, just heading into next week, obviously going in there with Matt Gordon. He's faced a couple of upcoming fighters. What are you expecting from him, though?
It's going to be tough. It's not going to be an easy walkover fight that people get on their debuts. I've got to break him down. He's going to be strong. He's physical, and I've seen that he likes to have a swing back. He's not going to just roll over. So I've got to break him down with my boxing skills and stick to what I know, and I'll be fine.
You said earlier that kind of you feel lucky that you've been able to get out there onto a show because of the current circumstances, whereas others haven't. With that in mind, do you feel a pressure to capitalize on this opportunity to make sure you impress everybody who does tune in?
I can't control if people are going to be impressed or not. The best way to do that, obviously, is to get a great knockout win. But if I force that and try and force getting a knockout, it will never come. All I've got to do in there is do my best, make my family proud, and do what my trainers say, and then whatever happens after that is what's meant to happen. But if I relax and stay behind my jab, I think I'll put a good performance on.
How have you found working with Mark Tibbs as well? Talk to me about this camp with Mark.
Yep, so I've been doing loads and loads of training with Mark up until about a few weeks ago. He's out in Fuerteventura at the minute with Billy Joe Saunders. But Jimmy Tibbs has been up and around the gym. Steve Andrews is going to do my corner on the night. More than capable. I went sparring with him with Joe-Joyce about 3 or 4 times, and he knows his stuff inside out. So he's had lots of fights himself as an ex-MMA boxing. He's done it all. So to have that man in my corner is going to be just as beneficial for me.
I mean, you mentioned Jimmy as well. He's just a wealth of knowledge. He's been around the sport for many of years. How have you found working just with the entire setup in general?
Yeah, it's been brilliant. So Jimmy's only been up the gym for the last week or so. I only met him a few days ago, but you can tell the amount of knowledge he's got, and him in the gym, and all the other boys in the gym as well. It's been brilliant.
You mentioned Billy Joe's out with, Mark Tibbs is out in Fuerteventura with Billy Joe. What type of interactions are you still having with Mark ahead of next week, though?
Yeah, he's calling me every day. We're doing some FaceTimes where he's teaching me a bit of technique stuff, especially as Matt Gordon's a southpaw. So we're still talking every day. We've got a group chat where he messages about what training he wants me to do every day, whether I'm going to go do some bag work or pads or whatever. But we're talking every day. We're always communicating. And it's my debut, and I've got to, especially, it's the COVID times as well. So this is why it's difficult that he's away, obviously. But no one's going to have it easy. And it's going to be a challenge not having your main trainer in there. But listen, we're here in the fight game, and sometimes you've got to overcome things that come in front of you.
Now, Johnny, you've had a fellow heavyweight announced as kind of what will be a new stablemate of yours in Daniel Dubois. Just cover kind of what have you made of Daniel when you've seen him in and around the cell? I take it you actually haven't had the chance to because he's been with Mark.
Yeah, he's been up Origin where I'm training for a couple of times this week actually, and he's a friendly guy. I don't know him that well, but he's friendly, and he's great. Someone of his caliber in the gym around me. Obviously, I'm friends with Joe, and I sparred Joe loads as well. And they put on a great fight together. But I really believe Daniel can come back as well and carve out the rest of his career. He's got an exciting future, and for me to be around someone like that is going to be beneficial for me.
Have you had kind of, you mentioned the work you've done with Joe, and you both obviously with S-Jam Boxing. Have you had kind of a banterous kind of exchange with him about the Joyce fight?
No, I just I spoke to him a bit about the Joyce fight, and he said, yeah, it wasn't my best performance, but he's hungry as ever to come back, and that's great to see because he's only young and he's got a huge future ahead of him, and he's got immense power. And if he can gel now with Mark and the other boys in the gym, he's going to add another layer to his game, and it's exciting to see. And everyone, I've got respect for everyone in the boxing world, all heavyweights, everyone who fights. They've got to have everybody's respect and honour because it's a hard game. And Daniel done brilliantly to last that long with an injured eye, and now to see if he can come back.
Daniel's, as you mentioned, very injured eye. He's still fully recovering from that. I know he's back in the gym, but certain things he won't be able to do. Just from seeing him, in your opinion, Johnny, kind of whereabouts is he at with regards to his rehabilitation, effectively?
Yeah, he's fine. There's nothing wrong with him at all. He's in terms of he's doing pads well. He's hungry as ever. I don't know the ins and outs of it, and I don't want to comment on anything too much because I don't know myself really. I just see him in the gym. I don't make it my business to understand what he's doing, but it looks like he's on track and he's hungry to fight.
Now, I just want to get your thoughts on one fight before I let you go. You mentioned Joyce. There's a lot of talk about a potential fight between him and Alexander Usyk. Johnny, just your thoughts if that one was to kind of cross the line and both were to sign on the dotted line?
Yeah, I think obviously watching back on the WSB series, over 5 rounds, Usyk probably beat him and quite convincingly. But that was Joe 5-6 years ago. He's a different animal now, and hunting him down for 12 rounds, Alexander Usyk is going to have a lot on his plate because I swear against Chisora, I thought it wasn't the most convincing win, especially in the first few rounds. But if you've got Joe Joyce hunting you down, a lot bigger, a lot stronger, a lot more athletic than Derek Chisora, it's going to be a horrible night's work for Alexander Usyk. And if he can hold him off, then fair play to him and credit to him. He proves he's a world-class talent.
Johnny, I'm going to leave a final word to yourself because I know you're a busy man this evening. Ahead of your debut next week, what would you like to say to everybody?
Just want to say thank you to everyone who's supported me. I've had nothing but kind messages and people supporting me. I know I've got a long way to go. I've just been given a great chance, and hopefully I'll be able to fulfil the journey. But thank you to all my sponsors, everyone helping me, and my whole team around me. I'm really, really grateful. And thank you for having me on, Andy.
Johnny, it's a pleasure as always. Best of luck next week. Enjoy the experience, and I'll catch up with you after the fight, if not during the week. Thank you, Speak to Boxing Social.
Yeah, definitely. Perfect, Andy. Thanks for having me on.